If you struggle with addiction or you just simply don't like your life, this video is going to be so important for you to watch. I promise you, this video might just be the one that saves you from your addiction. If this video ends up helping you, please consider subscribing and watching some of my other videos, because I believe if this one helps you, then the other ones will help you as well. Before we get into this, I want to talk about how I got stuck in a cycle of instant gratification and how it ruined my life. 2021, 2022, I was 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, basically that whole age range. I had a lot of time to myself, and I spent a lot of that time, the majority of that time, playing video games, watching porn, eating junk food, like really bad junk food, and just kind of what I thought was living normal life and enjoying a normal life. And this quickly caught up to me because I quickly became addicted to junk food. I quickly became addicted to video games and I guess the dopamine rush of playing competitive, and I would end up playing hours a day, like Minecraft PvP or other games, and just getting the dopamine hit of that. And I was addicted, and I would be miserable because I would get up from my computer after like 5-6 hours and just be miserable because I've been sitting on my computer all day, and it would make the rest of my life miserable too, which we will get into later on about why that is. But essentially, I was ruining my dopamine receptors, and that was affecting the rest of my day. And it was making me overstimulated, and that was affecting the rest of my day. And so even when I was at work or when I was just hanging out with friends or family, I would not be present, and I would be just miserable, and other people would be miserable around me as well. And so I was very, very just not a happy person at this point in my life. I was not doing well mentally. I was overstimulated. I was addicted to TikTok, and I got into a cycle of scrolling through TikToks, and I got addicted, and that of course fries your brain and makes you feel lost in life and feel like you're wasting your life, and you know you're wasting your life, and it sucks and it feels horrible, and you just start hating yourself and hating who you are, and it's just a miserable existence. And so this is where I want to get into. And eventually, about a year later, life happened, and I got kicked out of my parents' house. I became homeless, and I was living in my car. The crazy part about this story is when I was living in my car in the freezing 20-degree Fahrenheit weather, which that's like -5 Celsius or something, I don't know, it's really cold. I was sleeping outside in this weather, and I was actually the happiest I ever was in my life, despite not eating for days at a time, not having my phone because I just was too miserable and too depressed to even be on my phone, not having family or friends, or not having any vices to indulge in, no TikTok, nothing. I was actually cause I deleted TikTok like a little before this. I was actually the happiest I ever was in my life because I was forced to be with myself and not given to things that numb me, that I was not able to indulge in the instant gratification and the pleasure and the things that make me feel better in the moment, that numbs me in the moment to my life and my problems, but makes the rest of my life bad. And so this made my life better on a baseline level. And so this is where I want to get into how addiction works and how instant gratification works. And so we have instant gratification and we have delayed gratification. And instant gratification essentially is the habits you do every single day that feels good in the moment. It feels good when you do it. It like spikes up. If you were to put it on a graph, it spikes up our happiness level really high. And then once we're done doing that habit and we finish the video game, we finish the porn, we finish the degeneracy, whatever we're doing, we finish the alcohol drinking spree, we finish smoking the weed, we finish eating the junk food, and we finish and we're left there, our happiness level drops down really low, even lower than what it was before we were doing that bad habit. And so delayed gratification is the opposite. Delayed gratification is doing habits and things in your day that might not feel good in the moment, like going to the gym, exercising, meditating. It's kind of hard, it's strenuous, it's hard to do, you can't focus, you can't do the hard work, you feel weak and lazy and just unable to do it, and it's tiring mentally, physically, and spiritually. But when you do that habit, after you do the habit, your happiness level and your contentment level and your mental health overall goes up even higher than it was before. And so instant gratification affects instant gratification specifically will affect your baseline level on a regular basis, and essentially it will make it go lower and lower and lower as time goes on. Eventually you will get so stuck in this addiction or this vice or this habit that's not good for you, and you'll just become numb to it. You don't even realize that it's affecting your life negatively. And you have two, and so you either realize what it's doing to you and you stop it, or you continue down the addiction and you don't realize what it's doing to you and you get used to it. Because essentially instant gratification, the further you are down in addiction and instant gratification, the less it goes down every time you do a bad habit, and the less you notice the difference. And then the better you're doing, the higher you are on the happiness baseline level chart that we're putting in that we're imagining in our head right now. The higher we are on that scale, the more drastic of a negative difference it will do when you do the bad habit, and you will notice how bad it is for you. But the lower you are down in the habit or addiction, the less you will notice when you do the bad habit again. This is how your addiction grows. And I want to give it a little example with doom scrolling, because if you watch this video, you probably doom scroll. Just, it's not an attack on you. You probably doom scroll. You probably watch TikToks or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, whatever it is. Doom scrolling essentially causes your addictions to be worse, and it causes negative thoughts, and it makes your addictions grow. Because you're in a haze when you doom scroll. You don't realize the thoughts you're getting. You don't realize or control the thoughts you get while you're doom scrolling. You're just kind of in a haze. And so you're just succumbing to these negative or unwanted thoughts or intrusive thoughts, and then these intrusive thoughts and these negative thoughts kind of get more strength and power over you because you're entertaining them and giving into them without even realizing. It might be violent thoughts, it might be lustful thoughts, sexual thoughts, it might be degenerate thoughts, or whatever kind of thoughts. The music industry has this effect as well, and so if you listen to really bad music, then it probably has the same effect. This is why I don't listen to rap or any of that kind of music anymore. And so you don't control the thoughts you get from it, and this will make it so when the temptations come to watch porn or do something bad or eat the junk food, you're going to be more likely to give in. You're going to be weaker mentally, and it's not going to be good for you. Doom scrolling also overstimulates you, and overstimulation causes anxiety and just an overwhelming amount of thoughts in your day that you don't want, which means you're not living in the present moment anymore. And if you're not living in the present moment anymore, you are being numb to life and the things of life, which then leads to depression. And so we don't want this. So we don't want to have so many thoughts, because so many thoughts in our day just overwhelming us constantly. So many voices, so many just sources of just so many voices all at once causes this. It causes depression. Presence is so important in life, and we talk about this in our videos very often. Oftentimes people will give into a bad habit like a month or a year after quitting, and then they will negative self-talk, and then the momentum of like the bad habit grows, and spiritually the demons take over and create an even bigger problem, and now you're full-fledged addicted again. This is how addiction works. The minute you give in, the more likely you're going to give in the next time, and the next time, and the next time. And that initial temptation, if you give into it, you have to be careful, because the initial first few times you give into addiction, the more likely you'll become addicted, the more drastic the addiction forms and builds. And so you have to stop that. So you have to stop, because you don't want to get stuck in a hole where you're addicted and you can't get out, and you're stuck in this like bondage. If you just give in once and don't let it affect you mentally, and you recover and you do better the next day and the next day and the next day, you will be able to resist it on a long enough time frame. But because you're so addicted to instant gratification, and because you let these thoughts overwhelm your life, you get stuck in this cycle of addiction, and it overwhelms your life, and you succumb to this like attack on your mental health, and you become just addicted and miserable the rest of your life. The good news is, the worse you are, the worse you're doing, the more addicted you are, the more drastic the positive effect a good habit will cause. And so going to the gym for the first time always grows the most muscle and always yields the most like mental health benefit. Or meditating for 30 seconds and not giving up will yield the most results. Praying to God the first time will always yield the most results. And so you literally just need momentum in life. You just need momentum out of the hole that you're trapped in. or the path you're going down. If you just get momentum, you can start doing the good habits on a regular basis, and you'll start to do better. And once you get going, you're going to be doing so much better. So use this as motivation. Use this video as motivation to overcome the addiction and do better for your life. Something else I want to talk about really quickly, if you have addictions in your life, a big reason why you're stuck in your addiction is because you still see yourself as addicted. You still see yourself as someone who does that bad habit. And so if you skip the gym one day, then you consider yourself lazy, you consider yourself fat, you consider yourself weak. You have to consider yourself actually an athlete. If you consider yourself to be an athlete or a bodybuilder, then you're going to be more likely to go to the gym. And the same applies for the rest of your life. And so if you see yourself as somebody that follows God, you'll be more likely to follow God and serve God. If you see yourself as a pure person, innocent person, spiritual person who doesn't watch porn, doesn't get into degeneracy, then you're going to be less likely to give into degeneracy and give into that kind of addiction, that kind of bad habit. And so we have to become wary of who we are and what our identity is in. Because if our identity is in something negative, then we're probably going to be more likely to do the negative thing. A lot of times childhood trauma causes us to think more negatively and indulge in the negative thoughts. So we have to be careful about that and just kind of do better and overcome that negative and realize and be aware of these negative self-talk and identities we have in ourselves when we give in to the bad things. So with that being said, I hope this video has helped you. If it did, please consider watching some of my other videos. And if you want to join a community of like-minded people who just want to improve their life and who watch these videos, then consider joining my Discord, linked in the description below and on my channel page. So I love you all. I hope you all are having an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video.